Alright, today we're going to be solving systems using the substitution method, and as you can see, the objective is to solve systems using the substitution method. I'm only going to show you a couple examples, so please pay attention. Example 1 would be if you had y equals 3x, and if you also had x plus y equals negative 32. The whole idea is to be able to use substitution, and that means that if you could possibly solve one of the equations for a variable, you're lucky in this case because this is already solved for y in equation 1. So if you know y equals 3x and you have the other equation, which is x plus y equals negative 32, you could substitute 3x where y is. So it would kind of look like this. In x plus y equals negative 32, but we know that y equals 3x, we could replace that y with what y is, which is, instead of the y here, we would put 3x. And we've just created a single equation with a single variable in it, and now we can solve for x. So x plus 3x would be 4x equals 32. And then you can divide by 4 and divide by 4. 4's cancel, you get x equals 8. Now, while x equals 8, you can go back to this equation here and find out what y is by substituting again. So if you have the first equation saying that y equals 3x, and we know x equals 8, then y is going to equal 3 times 8. And so finally y equals 24. Your solution, which is in alphabetical order, would be 8, 24. So substitution method is literally substituting, and I'm going to give you some examples that are going to look like your problems, and here it goes. Example 2. If I give you the problem 3x plus 4y equals 14, and then you have an equation of negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. Now, in this system of equations, you have to use the substitution method, so use substitution. And here's the deal. I'm going to give you some steps. And there's many ways of working this out. But step 1, what I need you to do is actually choose a variable to solve for. That's an important step. You have actually 4 different variables. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's a variable here. You have 4 choices, and there is no wrong choice, but there are better choices. You must solve for a variable, and you have to choose one first. But be wise when you choose. And wisdom states that when you choose a variable, you want to choose a variable that's the easiest to solve for. Try to choose a variable that has a coefficient of 1. Like you see that x right there? Its coefficient is a 3. You see that y? Its coefficient is a 4. You see that variable? Its coefficient is a negative 2. But look at the coefficient on that y. Its coefficient is a 1. I would choose that right there. That's the variable I would choose for. So, in equation number 2, I'm going to choose the y. So I copy this down, and this is step 1. I go negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. To solve for this y right there, I would just add 2x to both sides. Add 2x. The x's cancel, and I'm left with y equals negative 3 plus 2x, but I personally prefer to write 2x minus 3. I'm going to put a box around that, so I'm going to ask you to put a box around that, because we're going to come back to this later on. In step 2, would you shut that door? It's so loud out there. Anyway, what had happened was, in step 2, once you solve one equation for a variable, you will substitute, thus the substitution method, this into the other equation. And it looks like this, okay? So the other equation that we did not use was 3x plus 4y equals 14. Now, do you see how we solve for y over here? And do you see the y right there? Since y equals 2x minus 3, where we have a y in the other equation, just replace it with 2x minus 3. So you rewrite by substituting. You're going to drop down to 3x, you're going to put plus 4, and where you have that y, put an open parenthesis. And what do you think is going to go in that parenthesis? Anybody? Tamia? Somebody? Okay, you're going to say 4, and then inside you're going to go 2x minus 3. Done, quit talking. Alright, so here we go. Don't forget equals 14. So we solve. Our goal was to make a single equation with just one variable in it, and that allows us to solve for x. So distribute the 4. We're going to get 3x plus, now 4 times 2x is 8x. Positive 4 times negative 3 is minus 12. And that equals 14. And combine like terms, so we're going to get 3x plus 8x, which is 11x, minus 12 equals 14. And then you know how to solve this better than I do. Add 12 to both sides, plus 12. 11x equals, 26? And divide by 11, move. Divide by 11, and x equals 26 over 11. Now, me personally, I like to deal with fractions. Fractions. But if you want to deal with a decimal, you could do that too. I mean, who's got a calculator? You have a calculator? Calculate 26 over 11. You can. What's 26 divided by 11? I never say change it to a decimal, but 26 divided by 11, it will...
26 divided by 11
is 2 is 22.
2.36.
2 point what?
2.36.
2.36?
You said 26 divided by 11.
Oh. Okay. So anyway, you need to find out what y is. So y equals, remember the boxed solution for y? Since y equals 2x minus 3, we could find out what y is by substituting, since we have a solution for x, and there's an x right here. Substitute. Y equals 2, and you can make it 2 over 1, times 26 over 11 minus 3. Now, I don't know about y'all, but 2 times 26 is going to be 52. 1 times 11 is 11, minus 3 over 1. And you know the LCD is 11, so multiply by 11 and multiply by 11. So y equals 52 over 11, minus 33 over 11, which makes that, I don't know what that is. What that is? Somehow. I don't know what that is. Okay, so like, yeah, dog. 52 minus 33, what? 12 minus 3 is 9, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So, okay, so y equals 19 over 11. And your solution, if, x goes first, 26 over 11. I'd be so embarrassed if this was wrong. Comma 19 over 11. Okay, so there's your x. There's your y. Please, Lord, let that be right. Okay, now, you could pause here and look at that. If you could pause and look at it, but I'm going to do another one for you. And then we're done. Here's a you do. You gotta go? Oh, no, why you gotta leave? Hold on, let me just copy this down. 6y, oh, farts, hold on. 6x plus 5y equals, oh no, hold on a second. If you're following along in the book, I'm on page 369, number 2. It's the got it problem. And it looks like this. 6y plus 5x equals 8. And then the other equation is x plus 3y equals -7. Now, hold on a second. Can you pause that? Or does it have to just turn off?
Turn off.
Oh, no, don't turn off. Can you hold that for her? She's got to go. And the whole class is going to be watching this go. All right. Class, the first thing... Oh, is it bouncing around?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Hold on, we're changing cameramen. Stop playing around. Okay. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Oh, God, I'm too fat for this desk.
For tomorrow?
Huh?
Or you want it next time?
This is for tomorrow, because I'm going to be asked. Okay, yeah, point it right there. Can you see okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back. Oh, now, the first thing I need you to be able to do is choose a variable and solve for it. Remember the steps? I'll go back. Choose a variable to solve for. Right there. So, you have two equations. We can call this equation 1 and equation 2, but you have a y here, you have an x here, you have a y, you have another x, and you have another y. What does wisdom tell you? Which variable would you choose? Well, anybody who would like to answer that one? Raise your hand. I'll forget it. I would choose this x. How many of you chose that x? Raise your hand if you chose that x. Good job, class. Awesome. All right, now, I would choose this x because it's the easiest to solve for. I mean, here, let's take the first equation. X plus 3y equals -7. If I can solve for x, that means get rid of the 3y, put it on the other side. If I put it on the other side, I have two ways of doing that. I could just move it over there and change the sign, or I could literally show -3y here, -3y here. 3y's cancel, and I'm left with x equals -7 minus 3y. I prefer to write the y first, so -3y minus 7, and I've just solved for x. I'm going to put a box around there because I'm going to use that later on. That was step 1. In step 2, I write down the other equation that I did not use, and the other equation I did not use was 6y plus 5x equals 8. And since x equals this junk right here, I see my x right here, and I substitute that right into that x value. I substitute -3y minus 7 right there, where x is. So it looks like this. 6y plus 5 parentheses. Now what am I going to put there? That's right, -3y minus 7 equals 8. And what I would do is I would solve for y. I've got one equation with just one variable. Distribute the 5. So you get 6y. Now 5 times -3y is minus 15y. 5 times -7 is minus 35, and that equals 8. 6y's minus 15y's, you could use your calculator, you're going to get negative, what that is? Anybody? 6 minus 5, 15? Very, very good. That's going to be negative 9y minus 35 equals 8. Add your 35. Add your 35.